Welcome back, more LANADA. This is game two. We got guys being dudes versus cataclysmic. And I think this will be a very close match, unlike the last one.
Yeah,
Rip.
yeah. So we got a bit of closer seeded teams, obviously. And going into this draft is a missile timeless start on Oni, which is a very, I'll say it, very lame and slow Oni start. It's probably going to be a lot slower of a game. You have the Dubu ban, thankfully. We don't have to deal with the hamster on Oni with these broken awakes. And you got an interesting Aimi ban. And I'm really shocked about this Aimi ban because it actually ended up giving up the Drakkar first pick on this missile prop start, which I think is a very dangerous pick to kind of have to deal with. But it did leave the Estelle open, and obviously CataCuties taking the Estelle instantly. And yeah, what do you think about?
Yeah, honestly, I prefer Atlas over Dubu on I. That might be somewhat of a preference, but I think that is a shared sentiment among the top players. So, picking the Mako might have been kind of like Cardbox is like, hey, this is my comfort, and also, the speed is nothing to scoff at, and Estelle is usually kind of considered counter to Mako, so getting them both together means it's going to be a little bit harder to CC, but Rasmus is there as well, so those Mako secondaries will get shut down just a little bit. But I think, honestly, because the Atlas was going to go over to the side with the direct, which has been kind of like a new up-and-coming, we're back to basics from Dallas, the first a non-collegiate LAN of Omega Strikers. Like it was Drek on Oni every day in the midfield, mirrors before bans. So seeing that pick come back to the midfield is very interesting. Um, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, as Lolomount pushing towards his bottom side with an excellent pass to Smegs, excellent passing all around, but Orange and Black just using a singular primary to shut that down. That is the power of this Atlas. You can dribble, you can move the ball around, but Atlas has this cooldown. It's just so hard to score, especially as Asher when he just gets so close to Orange and Black, but you can just secondary it away as Drew dribbling forward. And an excellent Rose Warp, though, to snipe the ball off is Smegs pushing towards the top side, dumping the Estelle kit. That is the prime setup here. And Smegs with the flip. The hit stun by Lolomount. Oh my god.
Well coordinated. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I'm like, I know this is gonna be a closer match, but honestly, Smags has been a huge up and coming player. She's been playing so well from her roots in PvPs. I think honestly this roster is even stronger than her regular roster. Cardbox is a bit of a demon, kind of like in any role, and I think what Smags brings to a team is a lot of focus on macro fundamentals, as well as she's also been developing a lot of her kind of like microplay. Like there, you see like a jump in and like it doesn't quite connect. She immediately responds with the Estelle ult and keeps possession. So the way they even took that first barrier was very important. The way they rotated to the top side and have Estelle kind of like dunk it in. Like these are the basics you need to have down pat in order to perform very well on Oni Village. So despite the Drek and the Raz and the Atlas going perhaps a better team comp, it's debatable because of how fast Estelle is and Cutie Cosmic. Cuties. Oh my gosh. It's gonna move 2-0 so far.
Yeah, I'm just loving the ball movement from CataCuties. A lot of passing between Waldemar and Smags. Just excellent finding the open time to take the barrier, even against all of this Atlas cooldowns. But it's Drew stealing the show here, taking the second barrier. The shotgun from SC Murad, trying to push the ball forward, but just excellent clears all around from Cardbox and Smags, who have just done such a good job at holding it down when truly needed. Orange and Black taking the safe corner clear, but the pressure still held by CataCuties as Lolomount dribbling towards his bottom side. Spanx is staggered here, but is able to stay alive for now. And an unfortunate
Ooh.
strike whiff from Cardbox means that they will be losing their first point here as the guys being dudes get their first point.
All good. Hey, every goalie gets one. That's nothing so far. I mean, I wouldn't even chalk it up to like Landers or anything like that. This is like totally, it's gonna happen to pretty much every goalie ever. Um, Absolutely nothing to worry about. Now, what is something to be worried about is I think guys being dudes are getting their footing on the way they're attacking. They've been a bit on the back foot here. They do go 2 barriers down, but honestly, that's not really a problem for Missile Prop Atlas. Kind of like hold that barrier better than I think a Mako can. the primary is quite slow, so your coverage, especially when this core gets fast, is going to be an issue. I'm going to be very interested after this point, which may go to the side of Cataclysmic Cutie. Oh, did I do it right?
CataCuties.
I'll never do it right. I hate words, man. Ban all words.
Yeah, as Drew, what a dribble back and forth just around Carbox, who, as you said, with this Mako, just doesn't really have a ton of fast reaction abilities, especially at the secondary down. Drew, noticing that, gets like 3 perfect dribbles in a row and takes the goal on the bottom side here as a 2-0 comeback here from guys being dudes, potentially could get them the set win here.
Yeah, it's very true. I'm expecting all barriers to go away. Honestly, they just need one good hold here. The cooldowns are in favor of guys being dudes. Drew has an opportunity here. They need to play like a good high-low. Oh, I mean, a KO can definitely like open up the board. Now, one barrier is going to go down. It's going to be hard to win through an Asher. Honestly, I'd really love to have seen that pass to orange and the black to sink into the bottom barrier, but they get the barrier anyway, so this is all working out just fine. Lalamao is actually getting a little bit low. Just need to survive this jump from Smags, no problem. When Atlas has Expanse, a quick shot to the bottom card box is ready for that. Now, where are guys being dudes going to commit to the play? Are they going to commit to the damage? Or are they just going to put the cooldowns on the goal? It looks like they're kind of doing a little bit of both, but they haven't committed to the kill. I think
Yeah, but they do get this power play here. But Smags almost wins the solo play. Wonderback forced to use the flip. Lalamao is back, but kind of a dangerous situation here for CataCuties. Either way, Cardbox does have the slip just in case. Lalamao now pushing with the Asher. Oh, what a clear from Orange and Black. Able to get it away as SC Mirage trying to hold it down as well. Orange and Black makes it just in time to get the coverage. And I mean, what a hold here from guys being dudes. Drew dribbling forward, just barely can't reach the ball, and Cardbox is able to clear it away. But Drew just has so much pressure. The Rose Warp cutting it off for now, and the flip being burned by Cardbox. Orange and Black can't reach, and Lalamao converts and wins the set 1 for CataCuties.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a point to, I think, guys being dudes, had Cardbox not have flip, just happily commits it right there, sees the dime up to the Brawler. Brawlers get it done. Asher's going to put that in the bottom side of the net with Orange Black being a tad bit too high. Now, I was going to say, like, in overtime, I feel like the game really favors guys being dudes, but it's... I think for the midfield, Estelle's happy to be there too. Estelle's going to get some blink range. That's going to prove quintessential, I think. And they had like a small condition of like damaging Asher. Asher picks up that Reptile Remedy. It's going to be very hard to kill them. And for the rest of the draft, whatever, other than Mako and Chrono Boost, is going to be a problem. I think CataCuties could walk away with this game if guys and dudes don't change a game plan and really take this offensive at full force.
Yeah, so much more mobility, so much more speed with the double dash range takes here, but the speed on Cardbox doesn't really matter if Murad can just ult the secondary, but both berries were lost. Orange and Black unable to cover either, kind of got stuck in between the two. The one thing that you really don't want to do on Oni, and Lalamao with a perfect dribble into barrier beam to take the first point here. CataCuties just looks so strong after this draft.
Yeah, a bit of a goober on both sides of the double barrier happening to both teams. It's going to happen every now and then. All good. Orange Black did go down that Atlas secondary, and then he committed to a full attack, and that's all she wrote for that point. Now down 2 barriers again. Mags going for a full commit. Down. I was going to say full kit after this commit. Orange Black, I think, just out of range, had strike on cooldown. I mean, that's the power. Like, the saving grace, I was going to say, is like, you got to get the overtime, or, you need some core speed, you need some power, you need team player or something if your guys being dudes. So, stalling the play, I don't know, maybe Orange Black is, like, taking things a little too fast, or SC Mira needs to kind of, like, deal on the defense just a little bit, just to make this play take a little bit longer. Relax, it hit overtime. I love this bottom side attempt there. I think Atlas gets involved a bit more in the play that way. And they're happy to take an offense on that side. But now, both a barrier apiece. They attacks on the bottom side. I love seeing Orange going for that, but of course, now down cooldown. Smags really good attempt, and just strike timings alone is going to give them the point 3-0 all of a sudden, as opposed to the 5-pointer we had at the beginning. Now this is all of a sudden looking one-sided.
Yeah, CataCuties got their win con. So much range and mobility now with these dash ranges, and Voldemort is now unkillable and is now very fast with this fight or flight coming on the board. It feels like CataCuties have just scaled out of control and are about to be truly unstoppable.
Yes, I had to think about it, but yes,
Yeah.
the calculations have been done, and I think this is going to be a CataCuties another sweep at this point. There's something to note here, and that is Alice has more speed, so those kind of plays I mentioned, when he gets the walk-ups and kind of takes that last barrier, that's going to be just a little bit easier now with a little bit more speed. But will the team of guys being dudes actually utilize that going forward? Will they figure out that they have a game plan on a small win condition of playing slow, or is CataCuties just going to walk away with this? And I think this offense is going to tell you mostly everything you need to know.
As the CataCuties offense is kind of just steamrolling through, but Orange and Black holding it down is now close to out of cooldowns here, so the final push here from CataCuties does take this final barrier as all the primaries are used on the side of guys being dudes. They're in a bit of a dangerous situation here as CataCuties still have cooldowns on the board here, but what a snipe by Etsy Murad! The missile prop Ariel's ultimate, and Drew just gets it barely past card box, and they immediately get a conversion here. This could perhaps be the turning point.
Yeah, I mean, like, the core is just shy of being like fast enough to really trip up Cardbox. I think Cardbox is not gonna let a play like that happen again. Was barely able to just not defend that. Just a few little micro adjustments, and they have the defense ready. There's the first Atlas save of the day. Well done, Orange and Black, but you're down 2 barriers. Will your forwards do the work that they are destined to do? After that res, this offense is really rough still. I mean, it's a Mako you got to go through, you can kind of space it, but that doesn't really help because Mako has plenty of range to kind of cover that last barrier, so really need to get to the open barrier play. They have 20 seconds left until they get to that promised land overtime, but to have this defense to hold out on Cardbox, getting this up to Smags, very happy to just slow down the play there, get out, hopefully a cooldown or two. Holding full kit, has the flip available too. It's going to keep this bottom side, ball him out. It's going to get an opportunity on Orange and Black. Pop narrowly misses on the attempt, but a shot on the bottom is going to sneak past Orange and Black.
Yeah, it just feels like the offensive pressure from CataCuties make it hard for Orange and Black to do the walking up that you kind of mentioned, right? Orange and Black can't really walk forward if they're just permanently on the defense here. It's making the job really hard because, after all, that Atlas Primer can only hit the core once. No matter how far it goes, it can only hit that ball once, so it's pretty easy to strike core at these closer ranges here, and just the pressure from the CataCuties. Smags able to be pretty much everywhere at once, especially with this Mako secondary mobility. Cardbox just 1v1ing Drew in the midfield here, is not losing a single interaction, the passing back and forth. Smags pushing the top side, a KO found, a point found, and CataCuties are 1 point away from winning.
Okay, this is the situation that I usually identify as up to nerves, right? Because like when you see like a team kind of play that foot there on the side, it's like, hey, if you were like just nervous, you would probably like on the defense kind of like just like hold it. But to kind of like either the win or the lose option, I'm worried for guys being dudes here that they might feel like this is feeling like hopeless for them. Really, you know, this is the time for a brawler to really shine. I think the brawler is usually going to be the one that's the least nervous, because once they get that core, they're gonna either make some magic happen. If they don't, you don't get scored on immediately, right? So Drew now has a great opportunity. Apparently, if it's in the back. It's the situation you exactly have. Especially off the KO. So well done. As being dudes quite out of this yet, recovering from potential. It looks like a nervous situation. Clean that up just nicely.
Yeah, and if you are guys being dudes and you take this set, you all of a sudden have all the momentum. It's all you need is one more point, and you're in such an even game state here. As They are showing how much they want it. They're doing such a good job of pushing forward, but Smags and Lalamau are just winning every interaction, pushing towards this bottom side. The passing is perfect. Lalamau finds the barrier past Orange Block, who just barely misses the strike. The primary clears it away for now, but it just goes straight to Card Blocks, who's able to just clear it forward permanently. Has so many cooldowns to do so, but Drew able to kind of try to find the dribble. The missile prop hook goes a little bit too far. As SC Mirage can't get it through Lalamau, who does have this flip now. Could be the win condition, but Smags goes down. And a power play is found from guys being dudes. Lalamau might have to burn this flip on defense.
Yeah, okay, they found a new win condition I didn't consider, and that's they've found a way to punish Smags there on their offense to go for the KOs. It's not every day that I see like a Rasmus solo or a missile prop Atlas. Okay, orange and black doing it again. Cardbox not committing this flip. I kind of agree with that, right? That wasn't going to go in. I don't really need to save the barrier here if I'm Mako. Fair enough to flip now, but this is going to be intense. Now the core is really fast. This could favor either side. This is way too fast for an Atlas or Mako, and there it is. Smag's going to sink that in with the Crystal Thorns. It's going to be cute. Going one, or I forget how their first game went, but they got another win in Swiss. Absolutely well done there. Good recovery. Got a bit nerve-wracking. It looked like guys being dudes could have came back from that, especially with how fast the core was going. A team player show up in the draft after a win or something. That would have been spooky.
Yeah, and CataCuties were able to just barely get it done. A few whiffed opportunities, but they were opportunities that were missed in a way that helped them hold pressure still. And they just constantly held that pressure until the back end of guys being dudes got a little bit too nervous. The Estelle ult was just too much for them to handle with that missile propulsion. And if you're guys being dudes, you can't really be too upset about how the game ended. You started to play a lot better as like things went through, but it's really hard to kind of come back from an Asher that builds stagger and just becomes unkillable, especially with how much speed and mobility Smegs had and Carbox enabled.
You love to see the adjustments mid-game,
yeah.
And that's why I love watching Omega Strikers. Is like when a team is like really like, hey, like I took this attempt and now like let me mix it up. Like the way that Orange Black is on the players for Smags, that was starting to turn around the game for them because they were no longer able to like get the walk-ups. We were talking about that Omega Infamous Accelerator as a potential tool for Orange Black to sink those last barriers, but that was just like never an option because of CataCuties being so on top of taking a barrier into a second barrier.
Yeah,
that was actually very well played from them. Just like completely shut down like the Atlas like pressing offense that Orange Black had to find a new way to get a lot of value, and they tried. So absolutely well played for both teams. That was a joy to watch.
Yeah, it was a very close, very competitive game. The passing from CataCuties was so fun to watch. They're definitely a team to look out for as a team that could potentially have some crazy run, right? They look so in sync. They look like they are just like so comfortable playing with each other, and it was very well proven here. And you're scared of teams like those because teams like those that just know how each other want to work, how they want to move the ball, they're some of the scariest teams to play because it's second nature to them where they want to put the ball. And it's really hard for teams to deal with that because with the passing being so quick and so efficient, you can't snipe it with a Atlas primary. You can like snipe it with a strike shot if you're like perfect and read it perfectly, but then if they go for the confirm on the barrier, you just lose because you don't have your strike. And that was the situation that they found themselves in, and worked very well to find those situations for them. That's why Smags has 4 goals, Lalamau has 4 goals, because they're literally passing the ball around and just finding who has the better conversion.
Sharing the wealth, and we'll share the wealth with you. More Omega Strikers to come. We're getting quicker on the turnaround, so don't go far. Game 3 of LANADA coming up soon.